Welcome everyone to this week's Skippy track guide at the beautiful Donington. And we have actually done one at Donington, but this chicane right here is different because on the old track layout we turned right, whereas this one we're turning left and actually including two more hairpins, which I think is called the GP version. So yeah, bit of a different, few more corners to manage and well, learn. But yeah, let's crack on with this. So let's get rid of all this jargon that I've got up. Not results, we want laps. There we go. Can you see it above my head? Yes, you can. Right, we did actually set a fastest lap of a 1:43.930, but I had an off track, which is a real pain in the rear end, but it wasn't too bad. We're actually showing you lap 6, which is a 1:43.996, which wasn't too bad. A couple of what's that, a couple of hundredths slower. So yeah, we're kind of there or thereabouts. Track information for you: 75 degrees, which I think is 75 Fahrenheit, which is 24 degrees, which is a little bit cool, to be honest. This was one of the official practice sessions at I think they're switching over at midnight now, or quarter past midnight, so this is one of the official ones. So yeah, it should be pretty much what we're seeing in the race. Otherwise, let's skip me waffling and crack on. Right then, so here we are on the start-finish straight, and it's quite a good run here. This is the line just here that we're crossing. Fairly decent run down to turn 1, so be very careful on the start. There will be dive bombers and definitely some carnage. If you look back through my YouTube videos, I had a crash here where I was on pole, and by the end of turn 1, I think I was last. So yeah, definitely horrible turn 1. What we're looking for, as we're spotting for our braking zone, is the pit exit. We're going to nick a little bit of it, and then we're about halfway between the dotted lines and the end of the dotted lines, if that makes sense. We're standing on the brakes. Down into second, I find the car rotates a little bit better through here. You want to get on throttle as early as you can. It's a hell of a long full throttle zone after this, so any mile an hour we can nick through this corner, the better. Watch the inside of that curb because it is very vicious. Car can bottom out and push wide. We do actually get a little bit wide here. Any further to the left on that other bit of concrete-y stuff, it is an off track, so be warned about running wide. Right, down the hills now. We're going to fast forward this because all we're trying to do is minimise steering angle and maximise the speed of the Skippy. It's downhill, so get up the gears quite quickly. These are called the Craner curves, and we're preparing for the old hairpin. Stay far left as you can. It's a bit awkward in cold tyres. We're looking for this white marking on tarmac just before the end. We're braking down to 4th gear. Touch the curb on the left hand side as it starts, and then start turning the car in. It does grip up sort of before the apex. Nick a little bit of dirt, give it a cheeky little tickle as we go past. There is an off track there, but it is quite far in, so we can do it. This bit here, you can run a little bit wide. I don't know how that wasn't an off track. I think if you come on it a bit longer, it is, but we got away with it, so crack on. Coming up the hill now, coming through turn 5, flat out, just minimise steering angle, maximise speed. Into turn 6 and 7 now. 6 is full throttle. I stay in 4th, but if you've got slipstream from another car, use 5th. It's a good overtaking opportunity here. You can definitely have a nice cheeky little dive bomb. We're looking for the straight bit of the white line. As we get past that, or on that I should say, we're braking, knock it down to 3rd, rotating the car in and aiming for after the dirt patch. So the dirt patch on the right hand side there, aim for the apex after it. Put a tyre on the cheeky little grass there. Again, give it a little cheeky tickle on the way past and we'll be all golden. Use a bit of dirt on the exit as well. It doesn't affect the Skippy too much because we're quite a short run up to turn 8. This is a tricky little corner and quite an important one because we've got a good straight after it. There's not really any markers. I just use it a distance away from the crest. So what I'm doing, coming up the hill, about now I'm starting braking, so a couple of car lengths from the actual crest of the hill. Brake down to 3rd, get the car rotated in before the crest because it will tend to understeer, and you're kind of aiming for the dirt patch again. There is an annoying slowdown there and an off track, so don't cut it too much, but you can get away with a little bit of dirt on the tyres. I try and keep as tight as I can around this long, this is all one turn 8, just to try and minimise the amount of distance we're going to be travelling, but I don't want to scrub too much speed off by turning on the tyres too heavily. So we're on to the back straight now. You're going to get a good slipstream down here, so you've got to be careful about the next chicane coming up, which is really pain in the rear. Turns 9 and 10 this is. So getting over to the right hand side of the track, watch these two corner signs that tell us what the hell we're doing. about halfway between, or about that distance away from the first one. We're standing on the brakes down to third gear and rotating the corner in. Now what I want you to do now is look for these little bollard things. We want to clip this one or kill it. They are ghosted, so don't worry, and we absolutely want to destroy these two. Don't worry about the third one, we seem to get off track. Kill them two and you should be absolutely golden. Onto another good little straight here. If you get a good run out of that chicane, it's a far chicane. Don't go too wide through there, very, very tricky. If you're going to get a good run out of there, you're going to get a brilliant run down here, and this is a good opportunity to have a little go down the inside if you can. It's a hairpin, we've got two hairpins in the road. There is a tiny little bump just there. That's a braking zone just before we hit it with our tyres. Brake in a straight line as best we can all the way down into first gear. Nice late apex, and you'll see the corner sort of squares off. So we've got a corner bit here, flat bit slightly, and then it corners off again. So we want to be all over the curve on the second part of there. Get a good exit, get on throttle as early as we can. It's quite a short run to the last corner of turn 12. That was turn 11 we just went round. And yeah, if you get a good exit out here, or if you're on the outside, that automatically means you get the inside of the next hairpin, which is a good opportunity to have a little cheeky overtake. Spot the curbing on the right hand side, and just as it ends we want to get on the brakes. Brake in a straight line with a hint of turning left all the way down into first gear. The reason I want to stay mostly straight is it maximises our braking potential, and it also gives us a late apex, which is what we want to get a good run down the start finish straight. So you can see the car really starting to react to the rotation now, and we kind of want to be on the curb, so I want to be kind of another car length over to the left. But I'm monitoring on my exit now, trying to get on throttle as soon as I can. Nick a little bit of curb on the right hand side here. You don't want to nick too much because it seems to be quite vicious of off tracks there, which is a real pain in the rear end. But now it's a blast to the line, and it's quite a long way away, so I probably should have fast forwarded this. So it's going to be a good bunch of overtakes around here. You're going to have a real good chance of getting some decent moves in. Just be warned though, it is quite a tight track. It's an old English track, so it's quite narrow in places. 1:43.996 as we cross the line. So we did do a fast lap on the day, but it was an off track, so I didn't want to show you that one. Thought I'd show you a genuine one. But there's a little bit of time in there, but I think that's down to biggest dictator around here is track temperature, as always. Otherwise, guys, if you like this video, let me know. If you want to see more of these, hit that subscribe button and all that lovely YouTube stuff. Full fast replays are following up of Cockpit Cam and Chase Cam, and setup is in the description if I didn't mention it. Otherwise, catch you on the next one.